Best to unmute myself, and everyone else can unmute as well. Okay, everyone's unmuted now. Okay, good afternoon. This is just a bit of an impromptu post Asterix stream with nothing really planned for it, but unfortunately, Media Musings is going to have to take a hiatus for a week on Ring's channel, as Ring's got some internet issues at the moment. So
Bell has been told.
Yeah. So which is a shame, because I was looking forward to doing a truly, this is Valentine's Day, and we were looking forward to doing one of the great love stories in media history.
Of all time.
It's a film called Deadpool, if anyone hasn't seen that. It's
beautiful film, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, so dragged a few people in. Noodle, of course, has returned. Jen from Jen's Little Corner, and Hopswatch. So, how's everybody doing today?
Yeah, good.
Cool.
Okay.
I've already seen you today, Jeff.
That's true. Oh, I see Dog's in the chat as well. Dog, you've got the link, by the way.
And Sandy,
if you want to jump in.
It's not Love Day, Never Again. It is Happy Cheap Chocolate Tomorrow Day.
I want to.
I'm not the romantic in my marriage.
I wanted to use Jen's other half's reference. Happy Gas Station Flowers Day.
So, yeah.
I saw one of the people that I follow on Twitter put out this absolutely fine poem. If you want to hear it,
go ahead.
It goes like this: roses are flowers, pebbles are stones. Here's a big shout out to those on their own. Think yourself lucky and try not to sob. Look on the bright side, you're not with a knob.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's not bad.
I also did like the Yorkshire offering of the day, which was roses are red. Hey up, no they ain't. They're white. Happy Valentine's Day from Yorkshire.
Yeah, that's
I just heard
the worst one I heard. This is probably one of the worst ones I heard. This is a few years ago, so let's immediately lower the tone of this stream.
Oh,
roses are red, violets are glorious, but never sneak up on Oscar Pistorius.
Oh God!
no.
Too far.
Yeah.
Come on, how did you did that deliberately to get in before Jen, didn't you?
I don't think
I
Jen would have gone that
one.
far.
I was remembering one that Ramesh I can't say his name, did on Mock the Week, where he said roses are red, violets are red, the sheets are red, everything's red, I'm bleeding to death.
Yeah, I like the humorous ones with them. I do like if you're gonna do roses are red things, they got to be
Yeah.
Anyway, I learned how to say 666 in Welsh today.
Well, continue.
You didn't say if you wanted to hear it. I mean, it is Welsh after all.
Yes.
No,
Okay. I'll say it then. I'll say it. I'll see if I can get it right. It's not always that it comes out exactly right, because it's a bit difficult. After all, it's Welsh. You
You do stand a better chance than us English speakers, though. To be fair, being Danish.
What's that again?
You do stand a better chance than us English speakers of getting it right. To be fair.
Yeah, you're right about that. You are right about that. Of course. I mean, we with languages where we really love our phlegm, we do stick together. I mean, we're good. we're good friends with the Dutch as well, and with the Irish. I mean, it's of course partly with the Scots as well. They've got their lochs, don't they? And it's going ach every time something surprises them. Okay, so 666 in 66 in Welsh. That's that would be chwechant chwedeg chwech.
Would you like a cough mint?
Yeah.
Is my response whenever I hear spoken Welsh. I'm sure it's a beautiful language and it's amazing, but as a native English speaker, I can't compute it. I apologise.
Okay, I've got one here. This one's very true. Roses are red, sugar is sweet. A huge controversy starts with one tweet.
Yeah.
Oh, and
That's about right.
My ball python ate yesterday. Now that may not sound like big news, but if you've followed me on the live streams I've been on the past 3 months or so, you'd know that it didn't want to eat for all that time, but now finally yesterday, yay! I was actually
in line with what you said, Jeff. Pineapple's yellow, pepperoni is red, but if you put them together, you might end up dead.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I have one. Roses are red, and here's something new. Violets are violet, not fucking blue.
Roses are red, violets are red. If you ain't red, you get shot in the head. Stalin, 1946.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Ring's being sweet.
What's Ring doing? Oh, Ring! Damn it. Not supposed to make me blush when I'm live. Ring's the poet between us. I don't do poetry. I don't really do romance.
I've done some. I occasionally have written poems. I'm not very good at it. I was quite proud of that Night Before Christmas thing that I did for Chris's channel.
Great.
That was I was quite proud of that, and then the fact that I actually sent it to the Nutcracker as well, which you should do with that poem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I believe. All right. Sorry, I just noticed. Hey, dog.
Hey, dog.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, dog.
Me bringing glamour to the channel again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why I keep bringing you on, mate.
Of course. You don't want to see my face. I drool a lot.
We need someone to raise the tone of the streams, don't we? Especially when we've got Jen and Scummer.
Hey.
Oh, I don't
Jen's
know.
been very reserved so far, actually.
I have.
I've been the worst one.
That's because I'm nice.
But you've also got Off-Swatch.
Mm.
He's always worth a watch, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Roses are red, corpses are blue. Sorry you're dead. I forgot you were allergic to roses too.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Those are some heavy allergies.
But normally today would be my extra leg over day. But not this year, unfortunately.
Well, seeing as this is the Media Musings slot, I'm going to go for the channel punching bag. Roses are red, violets are blue. I thought Voldemort was ugly, and then I saw you.
Uh,
Let's see.
Sorry, got to be done. We had a bit of a rant about her on Jen's channel. Where, I mean, it was supposed to be.
Oh, we did, didn't
about,
we?
It started off being about Trump being acquitted, and then we got very much into the way that fucking TERFs feel very empowered because of JK now.
I had lots of fun with the TERF just before getting on here, because they said something really stupid. They did the whole this is this, and they were going on about science things, and they ended with and water is wet. To which I said, well, that shows how much you know about science, because water isn't wet. It makes other things wet, but water isn't wet. And then she goes, oh, well, tell me your good science about trans women being women, and rah, rah, rah. And I said, I don't care what you think about any of this. I just care about whether or not you're respectful to other people or not. And this entire thread is showing that you haven't, because you started out by calling someone an it. So you're definitely not respectful. So there's no point in having a conversation with you. And she wanted to go on about having this conversation, and all I said was, no, not until you can be respectful to people. And then she just gave up. It's like, no, because I'm not having the argument you want. I'm going to have the argument about whether or not you're respectful, because you can't win that.
I think you've got to have the patience of a saint to deal with TERFs on Twitter. I don't know how the fuck Katie Montgomery manages it. I really don't, because she dives into.
She's got a really good memory too,
and she just dives in on these fuckers. You know, no.
Yeah, she's got an incredibly good memory too, so she remembers what they've said the last couple of times she's spoken to the same person, and when they contradict themselves, she brings it up and quotes it back to them. So she's really good at tearing them down like that. I'm not quite that good with remembering what they've said.
I do like the fact,
and I don't deal with them often enough, to be honest, to worry about it.
I do like the fact that she always blacks out the name and the person who on Twitter.
Yeah, and yet somebody today accused her of quote tweeting. Which is exactly what she doesn't do. She never quote tweets.
About bigots and trolls on the internet. 3 strikes and you're out. So, or 3 strikes and then I'm out. So I'll answer you once. I'll answer you a second time. I'll answer you a third time. If you're still going and it's malicious or it's not in good faith after that, you either get inundated with gifts because I no longer care what you are saying or think, or you just get blocked. Depending on
I blocked someone because I basically told him I'm done with the conversation. Okay, I'm done with it.
That's what I do, but I do it by changing the conversation. Like, no one's talking to you until you're respectful, or something like that. You take it off the track, and then because they can't argue with that. If they've already started the whole conversation by being disrespectful, they've got no argument apart from saying, "I'm sorry, I'm going to be more respectful." At that point, you've got them, because if they've got to be respectful, then they've got to start being honest as well.
But it's
some they don't want to be respectful because it goes against their honesty thing.
I don't deal with it. I've just got several thousand people blocked. I don't have time for those kind of things.
Oh, I've got heaps of them blocked too. I just can't be bothered.
I blocked this one. I mean, I blocked this one guy, and he was he's I'm not going to say who it was, but he's one of he's sort of one of Steve McRae's community, and it's weird because I get on with Steve, but this guy I blocked him because I was like, hey, no means no, motherfucker. Back the fuck off.
Well, this weird ass person, because I said to them, why do I need to convince you of anything? Because your opinion actually doesn't matter. You can have whatever damn opinion you like as long as you're respectful to people. And I actually do not care. And they say, oh, but my opinion does matter. Only to you. Everybody else in the speaking English world doesn't give a shit about your opinion.
Well, I've got less than 5 hours. Sorry, Jen.
That's all right. Go down.
I was just saying, I've got less than 5 hours left, and then my 1 week Twitter ban is up. All for a stupid.
Yay, we'll have the dog back.
Well, I just said a stupid joke. That was all. What I said was, I hope my COVID vaccine chip comes with Bluetooth. I just want my chip to
Well,
go through,
I
please.
found that.
Funny.
My
I
1
think
week
that's-
ban that I got was for suggesting that we should exterminate all viruses, and I put a picture of a Dalek up.
Of a what?
And and I got told I was inciting violence.
Against
For
what?
fucking viruses, not people. There was no people involved in the statement at all. Some anti-vaxxer reported me, and Twitter just decided that was violence.
Yeah,
That reminds me of a couple of years back now. It must have been a couple of years back now. I had a bunch of TERFs reported me for violence because I said, and I quote, "I'm about to bring the ban hammer down on this lot if they don't leave me alone."
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was suspended a couple of weeks ago for a different COVID joke, but they don't go about easily if you make fun with that. They
The
will.
thing is, though, they're really weird because that's the only time I've ever copped a ban on Twitter ever. But the stuff that they allow through that definitely shouldn't be there as well.
Oh,
Mhm.
definitely.
And it's that I've literally reported people for using full-on racist language against me on my fandom account and being told that it doesn't breach Twitter's terms of use.
Yeah.
I mean, full-on slurs.
I mean, that
I've had the same. I've had the same thing, Noodle, and yet I got a 1 week ban for telling a trans joke.
Well, I mean, that guy. I mean,
What?
I actually. The last person I reported was that fucking incel who was trying to get a targeted harassment campaign against Mero going.
Oh yeah. I reported
And
that thing.
that account, as far as I know, has not been taken down yet.
Last one
I
mean, look how.
know I wasn't the only person to report that.
I mean, to
There is
see how
only-
bad Twitter is, look how long Glinda lasted.
yeah.
That is just ridiculous that someone could be that vile and hate-filled and maintain a Twitter account for so long.
I will
Last one-
say as well, there is only one acceptable form of trolling.
Which is
Rickrolling.
Rickrolling.
I don't
Never gonna
mind.
give you up.
I don't mind funny, light-hearted trolling.
Yeah. That to me is what trolling is. It's like planking.
Yeah.
Confused, don't abuse. You know?
Banter,
Gifting or meme picturing.
Yeah.
I will, however, say that the last account that I reported actually was permanently suspended. That was from a fringe Danish politician who from that account was doxing people and calling people all kinds of absolutely awful slurs.
Yeah,
But he's actually he's actually quite famous in Denmark. He tried to run for parliament and barely did not get in. I made a couple of videos about him also, but he actually got banned. But I wasn't the only one reporting him. I will say, I think because there were a lot of people who were reporting the same tweets, it happened.
Sorry to interrupt. This message from Toxic. Is anyone else reading that to the scansion of Rawhide?
Trolling.
Those trolleys rolling. Right.
So Needle, did you see my Valentine's Trump meme?
I didn't know.
I'll have to share it for you.
You're gonna have to.
Yeah, let's
Come to think of it, I'm not sure I've ever heard the original version of Rawhide. I've heard.
Oh, I have. I've watched the original series.
I've heard the Blues Brothers version and the Dead Kennedys version.
I'll say the Blues Brothers version.
I thought the Blues Brothers version was the original.
No.
I'm joking.
I was going to say Noodle.
You know I'm joking. Come on.
Yeah. Even Tony.
But yeah.
It's good.
I will say, anyway, seeing as we're taking up the Media Musings slot, has anyone seen any entertainment news or anything this week?
You mean something to do with the Mandalorian?
Maybe, I don't know.
I was going
I'm
to.
just asking.
I brought this up on Jen's stream earlier today that the tweet of the week goes to Lucy
that was
Lawless
so
this
good.
week.
That was so good.
Oh.
And she, obviously, when Gina Carano got fired from The Mandalorian after kind of comparing being a Republican to being Jewish in 1930s Germany, someone was sort of tweeting at Lucy that they wanted Lucy Lawless to take that role on that Gina Carano was playing, and then Lucy Lawless retweeted this, but quoted it saying, "But I really had my heart set on the lead role in the sequel to God's Still Not Dead." It's like every
fantastic.
No.
I will say I was accidentally part of a political movement this week.
Yeah, if you heard by the Simply Secular, if you search the Manic Street Preachers version of that Suicide is Painless, the MASH
I
thing.
haven't, no.
That's a really good.
Suicide is painless. That's the only bit of the words I can remember, and I've heard the song so many times.
The Manic Street Preachers did a good cover of it.
Yeah, they played that when I saw them live.
That
was years ago though, but it was very good. Yeah, bit out of sync for what they normally did, but anyway, Twitter jail's fun. Trump's in here. He's a lifer, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Katie Hopkins has got the next cell.
Choose whether to share a cell with him or not. I'd rather not.
No.
The thing, I feel more sorry for you having to share that space with Glenna, to be perfectly honest.
He acts like Slater out of Porridge.
Can I point something out?
Every time Graham Linehan opens his mouth, an episode of Father Ted dies.
Can I just say something? I would pay money to watch the reality TV show in which Trump and Glenna share a cell.
I'm going to do a meme on one of his his most famous jokes. I'm going to do somebody going, your brain is small, theirs is far away.
Yeah. He's done like two of my favourite sitcoms ever, which is Father Ted and Black Books. I know he wasn't the sole writer on either of those, but
no.
He's just talk about a man who's ruined his reputation through his own bigotry.
He also did
a lot of them are doing that now, though.
The IT Crowd. But you can tell he did the IT Crowd, especially when you see the trans episode.
I won't mention him on camera.
I will say I did not have John. I did not have John Cleese out himself as a bigot on my 2020 bingo card last year. That one.
Yeah, that one was not a complete surprise.
That wasn't a surprise to me.
Yeah,
given his age and the type of humor Monty Python did, I think John Cleese, more than being an utter bigot, is just about being completely ignorant. In the case of John Cleese, he's just old and ignorant.
The one that
I would say the same thing of William Shatner, except he actually had somebody trying to educate him about that, and he ignored it. So
the one that I will say is the biggest, and to be honest, he's been on a downward spiral for like the last 4 or 5 years, maybe longer, to be honest. But was the former British MP George Galloway. Then the shit he said about the shit he said recently on Russia Today about there was about the BBC. Well, it was the BBC who tried to did this program, and it was a mixture on not gender identities but sexual identities, which Galloway can't fucking tell the difference between, and saying they want to just this hogwash that there are more than 100 genders, which is like actually the whole thing was like genders and sexual identities. So stop conflating those two fucking things for a start. And this is what annoys me. He has been around. He was like even though he's always been a bit of a firebrand. He was on the right side. He was quite left. You know, he was a good left wing. He's been around. He should know fucking better than to spout the shit that he was spouting.
I
He's
think
been
one of the problems.
platformed by the Kremlin. Of course, he's going to
he's
toe
enjoy
their
that.
party line.
He's Vladimir
that's true.
Putin's fucking lapdog now.
Yeah. I think one of the problems with that whole concept of people going, "Oh, there's 100 genders," and talking bullshit like that is what they're misunderstanding from that is that everybody's relationship to what their gender identity is different. Every single person in this thread, in the chat here, on the entire planet has a different relationship to their gender identity than everyone else. So effectively, if you were going to talk about it, there's as many genders as there are people. But we have a limited amount of language to describe that in. So it's
we
not
use
that
broad
there are 100.
generalizations.
Yeah. We're creating boxes to put people in, which we shouldn't really do. It'd be a lot easier if people just go, yeah, you are what you are. And that's all we need. That's all any of us really need, just an acceptance that, you know, if somebody introduces themselves to me and they go, I'm Fred and my pronouns are they, them, I'm going to call them Fred and say they, them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just being respectful. And that's what everybody should do, regardless of what your ideology is about any of this.
Yeah, I think
because that's
we've
being
gotten
fucking
to the point
respectful.
Yeah, I mean, in day-to-day life, there is no reason not to respect someone's pronouns or name.
Exactly.
You know, within reason. I'm not going to sit here and slam anyone who's ever made a mistake. We're not saying that.
No.
But generally, there's no reason to
I mean,
argue against doing it. Yeah.
People do make mistakes, but if it's not intentional and it's like,
Yeah,
oops, you know,
exactly.
they realise. Like,
There's,
I mean, a good
there's no
example.
reason to be malicious.
I don't want to shame her here, but like, Julie has accidentally done that to Junk Shop once or twice. Julie's married to Junk Shop, but it's like it's accidentally said he, and then it's like stopped herself, like, you know.
I mean, I've done it with Ring. I've done it level streams with Ring.
it
is what it is.
I've been trying to get into
I've done it to you, Noodle, a couple of times.
But in general society, there's no reason not to at least try. I think our problem is that there's this conflation of gender identity with medical transition right now. And people presume that one precludes the other, and that the two are not potentially mutually exclusive.
The one you know the one you definitely know is being problematic is when they say he, she.
Oh God.
And then you just know at that point, okay, they're not making a fucking effort here.
Or if you call somebody it or whatever else, just because.
I mean, to be fair, as far as I'm aware, some people do use it as a pronoun, but
it's fair if they.
If you want to use it as your pronoun, cool, have at it. I will respect that. But if someone's using it against you and you haven't asked them to do that, they're trying to insult you.
Generally speaking, if it's in a real life situation, you'll know that somebody's being an ass because of the tone they use. Online, you know they're an ass because it's always in quotes.
Being an ass. Yeah.
They'll put quotes around things. Like it or he, she.
And and the thing is as well, I'm not going to sit here and pretend, we can respect people's gender identity socially on a social level. What goes on between any person and their doctor regarding what they want to do, what they don't want to do with regards to their body and their gender identity is no one else's business. You've been told a name and pronouns, use them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
there's an entirely different discussion to be had about, transphobia in the medical professions.
Oh, that's a very
on a social level,
discussion.
Medically, it's no one else's business what anyone's medical history or issues are.
I used to hear this a lot about a retired work colleague who's a trans woman, and I have to say that at the time I knew her, I still didn't quite understand what being transgender meant or entailed, but it was the kind of thing, it did piss me off when I'd hear he, she, or it, and I'm like, call her by pronouns she wants to go by she, call her by she. I was just like,
Yeah, I'm just a great believer in it's no skin off my nose. If I forget, I apologise, but it's not malicious. Is it really so much
just
effort?
like, just I was like, so it was like,
It's the level
I
of
was
effort
just
that
trying
matters and the
this
level of
pronouns
respect
I
given to
prefer,
someone.
and don't dead name them. It was like, which is
Don't dead name. That
Listen.
bullshit with Kate Spice.
You know what? Do you know
That
what?
was
As an
disgusting.
AFAB person, I'm going to say this, right? When a female presenting person gets married and takes on their spouse's surname, which I appreciate is becoming rarer and rarer, but when that happens or when they double barrel, no one complains and says, oh, I can't remember your new name. No one has a go at them. No one forgets that they're married. Okay? No one does that to them. No one
forgets
takes
that their
away
pronouns change from Miss to Mrs.
Exactly. When people get divorced,
their
people don't
salutation,
still
not
get called
pronoun, but-
Mrs.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. So why does it happen to trans people? It's because people do not give the same level of respect to someone who's discussing trans issues as they do to the institution of marriage, whatever the hell that is in the 21st century.
And it's religious bias.
It's a piece of paper, let's be honest. But if you can respect one, you can respect the other, and it doesn't take any other effort. Now, if you're genuinely the kind of person who will forget, oh, that person got married last month, yeah, cool. Some people are like that. Some people got atrocious memories. I know I do. But if you can make the effort for one, make the effort for the other. It's all anyone's asking. Is just an honest effort from anyone.
And for anybody who's wondering, the term dead name doesn't start with trans people at all. It comes out of the police giving new identities to people who go into police
witness protection.
Witness protection. That was where the term dead naming comes from, and it's where the old identity is sealed and protected, and you're not supposed to know about it. And that's what happens with trans people, which is why it's called dead naming, because it's exactly the same fucking thing.
But I mean, it happened before. It happened before witness protection, though, because I mean, the most famous example,
but I think the term came about because of witness protection.
Yeah, that's how the term came about. The most famous example was Muhammad Ali. The day after he won the world championship, and they announced that he was going by Muhammad Ali, not Cassius Clay. But for like years afterwards, they still were kept the commentators and sports people kept calling him Cassius Clay. We said that is not my name.
No, that's not his name. And it is a thing in I think it is a thing with converts to Islam that they do choose a new name and leave the old one. I think it is a common thing that they do as part of the. I think they call it reverting process. I'm not well read on.
Had he not converted to Islam and not been a black athlete, he probably would have got more respect for a name change than what he got.
Cat Stevens.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Yeah. Although that was later than, but not much later than Muhammad Ali.
No, not much later.
No, it's only about.
But it's that level of respect was different.
Yeah, it was different, and there was a lot less kerfuffle made over it.
Yeah, it was almost a level of racism in the use of Muhammad Ali's dead name.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was. For years, it was for years that they kept commentate, especially sports, because you listen to some of those Ali fights after he won the title, and they still kept calling Cassius Clay. You know, and it was like how many?
I would say because we're getting some questions in the chat about if you look at someone, is it safe to use the pronoun you think that they might have? Generally, I would think if you have any any doubts at all, just default to they unless they tell you otherwise. Or just ask.
I would.
I
Yeah,
tend to find
you're
ask,
not going
I
to
get a
offend
good
them by
reception for
asking.
I
asking.
think you're.
So that's where I fail.
If you get it wrong, most people aren't going to be rude and obnoxious. There are some trans people who are rude and obnoxious about pronouns.
I think I can. Yeah, I mean, I think you can. I think you can be easily forgiven if you see someone you think presents as male and instantly say he or or someone who presents female and instantly say she. But if they correct you on the pronouns, say they try and get into the habit of
look,
like
I'd like to point out
kind of like
too.
it's kind
I'm
of like
sat
that
here in
one thing, and
very feminine clothing right now. If someone calls me she, I'm not gonna, because that's how I'm choosing to present.
Like,
I'm not actively, but either way, it's it is what it is. I use they because my gender fluctuates.
Yeah.
But the thing is, your name is such a personal thing, and a lot of religions do it. A lot of religions change names. As Rings just put in the chat, Christians do it. I know Catholics have confirmation names, which is the name you take on when you become an adult in the Catholic Church. When you've accepted the doctrine of the Catholic Church for yourself as an adult. Okay, you do it at 13 years old, but that's what the church calls an adult. There's the various religions, faiths do this. Sometimes you'll move to a different country and you'll take on another name. If I go to Russia, I'm not going by my name. I'm going by my father's patronym. Because that's how their naming system works. Equally, if I go to Japan, I'm not going by an English name. I probably end up having something resembling a Japanese name if I'm there for any length of time. In the same way, when Chinese and Japanese come to the West, they pick English-sounding names or local-sounding names. And we respect that.
And if you get it wrong with somebody, if you get a pronoun wrong with something, most people are going to go, no, it's actually this, and they're going to be nice about it. Occasionally, you'll meet somebody who's an ass about it. Yeah. If they're an ass, be the better person. Don't be an ass back. Just go, oh look, I'm sorry. I'll try and be right from now on. But there was really no need to be rude to me. It was a genuine mistake. Just point out to them they're being an ass.
When you get to someone who's like their immediate go-to is, how dare you assume my gender? It's like, okay,
they're looking for an argument.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing I'd expect from a certain EO.
I will say,
I forget. Actually, I won't get into it too much, Jen, because there was something that was mentioned on your stream last night, and I immediately thought of that person, but I didn't bring it up because I didn't quite know how to word it without it being offensive. But it was. I think you were sort of making a thing about like sort of younger people in the community who may. I'm trying to think how it was, but should we say might use the trans banner as it's a virtue signal, maybe if that's the right way of putting it.
There are definitely people who will use the trans banner to virtue signal.
Yeah,
there are trans people can be shitheads as well. Well, we know
that. Use it as a rod to beat others with.
It's not necessarily a young person thing, although it does tend to happen more with younger people. But
and
I think mostly because some of them are not particularly mature.
I didn't quite know how to phrase it, but that person you're thinking of, it was exactly. I exactly thought of that person that you were just thinking of, and
yeah,
I'll put it in the private chat, but I'm sure most people know who we're talking about. But
I will say, Robert X, pro tip from someone who works in a call center and takes phone calls all day long. If you get someone's pronouns wrong on a phone call by hearing their voice, your best friend is the line, "I do apologize. There's a lot of noise on the line." And then just carry on. I am so sorry, there's a lot of noise on the line. I didn't quite hear the tone of your voice. And
Actually,
you can get away with
Robert
so much with that.
actually- Yeah, that is dangerous. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
If you're a trans person, be
the-
nice back to the person the other way, because my voice is
Yeah.
fairly androgynous, so I occasionally get misgendered on the phone. I think just about anybody's been misgendered on the phone. To
I've
be
been
perfectly
misgendered on the
honest.
phone,
Yeah,
and
it-
I've got a fail.
But I have sometimes said to people that no, that's okay. Well, can they say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I go, "No, that's okay. I'm on my mobile phone. It sounds like crap anyway."
Exactly.
You know, 'cause 9 times out of 10, you're on a mobile phone and you could be in a bad area and the
Oh.
signal could be bad. And it sounds dreadful.
Yeah, I will say as well, just the other thing I was going to say about asking people their pronouns, and this is just me sharing what I've found to be best practice works for me as someone asking. Generally, don't single people out in a group, ask the whole group. Even if there's only one person in the group whose pronouns you're not sure about, ask everyone.
Or start by giving yours.
Or,
If you're
yeah,
not sure
start
of the
by
group,
giving yours and
you
ask
say,
everyone.
I go, hi, I'm Jim, my pronouns are she, her. And you start it. That way everybody else is going, okay, we're going to do that. But also, don't be crazy. Don't be crazy about it. If you're one of these people who has a lot of pronouns you accept, just pick one of them and give them to people. Don't make the spiel that you introduce yourselves something that the Lord's going to give to royalty on their way into a ballroom, because that you've instantly alienated everybody that you're talking to by waffling on for ages. Just be nice and quick and succinct. Name, pronouns. That's all anyone needs. They can get the rest of your details later if they need them.
I'm quite ignorant where I'm just ignorant. I avoid pronouns with length, just to avoid the question. To be fair, I've got all that respect, and anyone can be who they want to be. That's probably why I'm mainly described as adjectives, mainly because of my ignorance.
I've never bothered with pronouns in any of my profiles of that. Although I am very tempted to put he, him in there just to fucking annoy TERFs.
Honestly, that's a very good reason. Do it.
So you always put me, mine, but pronouns me, mine.
Well, the other one was pronoun. Well, my other the old joke, okay, but even now I don't tend to go to this one. But prefer pronouns Lord, Master, Darth. You know,
Darth. Yeah, that works. But mostly I love the whole thing where they go, pronoun brigade. What you say means nothing. It's like, if that's your only argument, you didn't have an argument in the first place.
Yeah, no. I think my favourite bio I've ever seen, someone put on it pronouns answers to your highness.
To your highness, yeah.
Which is,
I think it's one of those things like I said, like the Lord Master Darth thing. It's funny until like the transphobes start using that themselves. Like the attack.
It's funny when it's not malicious.
Like the attack helicopter joke that they now use as a fucking stick to, which was kind of funny to. It was kind of funny to begin with.
Joke though. It
really
is
fairly
a bad
funny to begin with, but it's like, okay, they're now it is the TERFs and shit that use that. But I love the fact that when you call them, so don't call us TERFs. That's derogatory. So, sorry. Are you lecturing me on not you lecturing me on not respecting what you
want to be called?
Here.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
the thing is, though, with TERFs, I said I'd copped a ban from TERFs. In that same thing, those same TERFs doxed me to my employer, and they didn't get banned. For some reason, these TERFs, this was before my name was plastered all across my Twitter, by the way, because it's quite obvious who I am. I don't make any secret of it. These TERFs decided in their wisdom, they found my Twitter, they then found my fan fiction account, and by doing a reverse image search of my fan fiction profile, found my Facebook profile in which I'd shared the same image because it was something I'd made, found my name, went back over 4 years of my Facebook history, including adding people I knew as friends so they could see my full profile, found out who my employer was through a post someone else had tagged me in, because I don't mention who my employer is, and then contacted my employer.
Yeah, because they're assholes.
With the accusation, I should point out, with the accusation that I was a paedophile because they found a fan fiction I had read with an underage character.
Oh.
To
Let
be
me tell
fair,
you how that
I think
ended.
all trans people are pedophiles.
Yeah, let me tell you how that ended. I walked into work the following day. I said to my manager, what's going to happen with this? My manager took one look at me and said, you're unionized. We don't give a flying fuck what you do outside of work hours. It's not our business. We're not your parents.
Hmm.
So
That is the
they
dream,
got
though,
me-
Noodle.
You've got.
Yeah, it is. And my manager went about that and just said, you know what? Yeah. But this was, you'll remember it, Ring, when I had all those turfs piling on me a few years back. And they did that, and they found Ring's name, and they found everything. And they went to my employer and tried to get me reported as a paedophile because of fan fiction. Now, that to me is beyond the pale. That to me is going too far.
Oh, that's a shame, though, Noodle.
But yeah, though, that's what I did. I went into work. I spoke to my manager. When my manager said, we don't give a damn, literally on my break at work that day, that's when I changed all my social media and blew it wide open and put my full name on it, my hometown and everything, because I said, I am not going to let you people have the power over me that you think I've got anything to hide, because I don't. The only things I ever had any care about was, what does Ring think? Well, if Ring doesn't know I'm into fan fiction by now, they're not paying attention. What does my dad think? Well, my dad doesn't give a monkey's what I do on the internet. I'm a grown-ass adult. And what does my employer think? Is my employer going to hold it against me? Well, I found out that way that they're not going to. So these people, I am pretty untouchable online in that regard.
Yeah.
And that is the dream. I will say my employer, I'm not going to name them, but they are a big employer in the UK. They are a major bank. Again, I'm not going to say which one. But they were, the idea that these people thought they could frighten me. And all because I called out a TERF who was a Labour councillor on Twitter. All because I called out a TERF. And they turned that round and tried to make me... And and this is what I mean by Twitter is really unequal. You find that minorities, people of colour, LGBT minorities, AFAB people or female presenting people, when we make Twitter reports, statistically, we are far less likely to have that report upheld, even when it's clear what it is. Twitter's, I don't know if it's their algorithm or their people or what their actual processes are, but their processes are just, they're not equal at all. And quite frankly, it is at the point with, I am expecting before long a new social media platform to start up. Something that is able to moderate a little bit better, I think. Although how that will be done without introducing censorship is over my head.
Well, they need to be monitored by human beings, as far as I'm, because that Twitter algorithm is just fucked up.
Twitter algorithms in general are stupid. I read one detective book last week on Kindle, and today I logged into Kindle Unlimited to have a look, and I got 4 pages of generic DCI insert name novels to read. And I'm just like, what on earth made you think I would want to read all this nonsense? I read one book.
Yeah, I don't mind like the Facebook algorithm. I don't use Facebook, but I have it just so it keeps my news feed quite good. Because if I'm discussing with someone in the real world, I know that algorithm is picking up my microphone on my phone if it's nearby, and it will present that in my news feeds. So if we have talked about stuff, if I didn't have a clue about it, then I can read up on it without having to research it. It normally gets posted onto a news feed. We were talking about Pink Floyd the other day. Well, even though I know all about them, my news feed is full of Pink Floyd now.
Yeah, and they do. Facebook scans your cookies and really does go to town on trying to fire adverts at you. Twitter does the same as well, to be honest.
Twitter's not as bad, though.
I've learned, though, pro tip, use the algorithm for your own ends. If you find something you want to buy on any online shopping page, open it up, save it in your basket, but don't buy it. Then wait 3 days for it to roll up your Twitter or your Facebook at half the price.
Oh, that's clever.
It's a good
I
tip.
thought that one.
Because the algorithm will automatically, because it'll pick up the cookie of the thing you searched for. Their algorithms will then search for better deals for you automatically.
I'm back, and by the way, can I just say this stream's about to get far more sexy instantly.
Oh,
we have a Sam.
Oh, we have
Sam. Hey,
we have
Sam.
Hello,
I woke up literally 3 minutes ago. Hi.
Hiya, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
This is the second stream I've been on with Sam today, by the way. So
Yep.
technically today, because it was like early hours of the morning. Like before I was on your stream, Jen, like at 3 a.m. in the morning, about 1 a.m. in the morning, I was on Neil's after. Neil had an after party for African Humanist. Myself and Sam were on there.
Sam was on my stream for the last 4 minutes.
Yeah,
we've been on the same stream 3 times today. We've just not been on together 3 times today.
Yeah, yeah. We I jumped out and because I was falling asleep about 5 a.m. and I was like, "Oh, Jen, I've got to jump." You were pretty close, but I think you may have went on a little longer than.
I just sort of went, "Oh, they're still on."
Sam, we've been talking about pronouns.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally writing a video on pronouns at the moment. So
I know.
Oh, cool. Anyone who's got questions, just wait for that and go watch that. Ignore everything we said. Just go watch that.
See, I am about this close with certain people to turning around and saying to some of them, "Listen, when I say my pronouns are all of them, I do not mean any of them. I mean all of them. You will use all of them or just they, them."
Yeah.
Right. I think I'm going to jump out.
No worries, Hops.
Kind of.
No worries,
I'm going to get some supper. So
take care.
See you, all of you. Always remember to drink responsibly. All that.
Stay safe, mate. Stay safe.
You too. You too. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
So, what
Yeah,
else do we want to talk about?
yeah, that's because African Humanist is in the UK. That's why it was a bit. That was why Neil's stream was a bit earlier.
Yeah.
His after show normally going like 5 or 6 in the morning my time generally. So if I jump into them, I'm normally it's normally because I've woken up really early.
I can't believe you are still awake for my stream, considering that I started, what was it, about 4 o'clock in the morning?
Started at 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Something like that.
I went to sleep really early yesterday because I did a stream and I said I'm already like way into my StreamYard's allowance already for this comeback, so it's going to be using Restream a few times this month, I think, coming forward to balance it out.
What is the monthly allowance you get on StreamYards?
20 hours.
All right, I'm nowhere near that. I'm fine.
I'm already 5 hours into it, and that's
you realise if you use OBS and you stream from your machine, Jeff, you actually don't use up any of that. Although the way your internet is, it'd probably be a bad idea.
Well, the fact that I'm doing this on a ancient Mac, I don't know how. But so at the moment, I'm just like, I'll use Restream, which isn't as good, but it is a poor man's StreamYard, let's be honest. But I can get away with it. It's got one or two features I quite like with the layout, but it's not as user friendly to me.
Lighter / more Media Musings, a topic of conversation. Let's see what's been in the entertainment news this week. Jen giggled the last time I said this, and I'm still curious what the hell you're going on about with the Mandalorian.
Other than Gina Carano.
Oh, Gina Carano. That was all I was talking about.
Okay, right, okay. Did anyone see? I was accidentally part of a political movement on Thursday night, entirely accidentally. We weren't expecting it to be political or a movement. They made a new Thomas Harris adaptation, Clarice in America.
Oh, yeah, I've seen.
And the Hannibal fandom decided that, no, we don't want Clarice. What we want is season 4 of Hannibal. So we arranged a watch party for the same time, worldwide. And we started trending, but we started trending under politics. And it took them about 3 hours to move us from politics to entertainment, which was quite funny because for 3 hours we were a political movement.
Thanks, Ring. I'm almost at the point where I could cover my costs, just not quite yet.
So that was
Dog's
an amusing
already a patron of mine, so
evening. I thought I'd share that because that was a bit of fun. And what else happened in entertainment news this week? Something else happened. There was the Hannibal thing. What else happened in entertainment news this week, folks? Something happened.
Sacha Baron Cohen's song got nominated for an Oscar for original music. His song in the film Borat 2, subsequent movie film.
Oh gosh.
The coronavirus song.
I can't say I've heard it.
My Corona.
Oh gosh.
No,
really?
it's pretty funny. It's a good film. It's basically against Democrats at the beginning, but it just ousts all the Trump fans as well. What they are, basically numpties and idiots.
Well, say what you want about Sacha Baron Cohen. He's intelligent.
Oh yeah,
he's very intelligent. Even back in the Ali G days, he was very, very quick. Oh yeah, the Super Bowl halftime. I didn't see the Super Bowl this year. Who played?
It was
did anyone see the Super Bowl?
Buccaneers and Chiefs.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Bucs dominated them. It was actually kind of embarrassing if you were a Kansas. It's weird because I know someone who's a Kansas City fan on that, but then. What can I say with sport? Southampton have had such a bad fucking week.
It's fine that Kansas City lost because Ring and I don't like them because the traffic around their city is atrocious.
Fair. See, I'm in a weird position where the only entertainment news I'm really aware of from the last week is that someone designed a ridiculous program that's a chess game that whenever you move a piece, the piece effectively tries to drop down to the bottom of the board as though gravity's in effect on the board and the board is sideways.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wait, so I move a pawn out and it drops?
Yeah.
It's 2020
so it's like trying to play chess with Tetris. I'm doing this because I'm trying to like I can't.
Oh, it's funny.
I have
Did
5
you- did you
DHS is enough for
guys
me.
heard- Did you guys hear the 2020 song?
No.
Is this the
Yeah,
two
let's see
women?
if I get kicked off of YouTube for this. But
You might get suspended if we don't talk over it.
we'll talk.
love
We'll
this.
talk a little bit.
We've had a lovely time.
They're hilarious.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
With a little squeeze of lime. We look forward to a new decade of hope and optimism. But what we got instead was a hornet nest of jism. No, not as many famous people died.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Whoa!
Oh, Jeff's
Oh,
gone.
dear, we lost
Jeff's
Jeff.
gone. He got
Yes,
cancelled.
it
Jeff was cancelled.
We paid the
Oh, no, that was a
NHS
little
in tax for
internet
saving all our
glitch.
lives. And we thank the frontline workers by not staying the fuck inside. Every politician pissed the bed but never had to quit. Maybe they should all retrain as people who aren't shit. Let's call this one a write-off, start again next year instead. Shoot this one cannon into the CL or go back to bed. You can blame it on whoever, but you can't deny the
It's
fact.
hilarious,
They take
this.
to a movie that it all went up the twat. We've had earthquakes, war and locusts, and the seas are getting higher in Australia, in California, everything's on fire. Concentration camps in China, Poland's women's rights infringed. Because when the world's in trouble, why not boot it in the midge? And when it comes to children, they've not been done by halves. The US lost their parents and the UK let them starve. The new expert on trans lives is always a loving sham. Sit down, JK Rowling, off your piss to Azkaban.
Yeah.
Latin Brexit has felt to make us laugh. They tried to spin the shit to silk and made a pooey scarf. Fuck the entire world, then fuck it all again.
Let's put it up
Except
there.
for New Zealand. Hi, when can we move in?
Rings
We're
travel
doing
punching
great.
bag.
The cowards all kicked off when they saw a statue shatter, but thank God there's people standing up for all Blacks lives matter. The police are meant to serve, but they're killing folks instead, so we gave them more funding, because that makes fucking sense. Americans hating snowflakes wearing masks was very cute, whilst they take their guns to Walmart to protect them from the fruit. When it comes to racism, this world is in denial, so let's cheer off this great year with a jolly Nazi Heil. The GOP dried out like a dog turd in the summer, where even Giuliani's head tried to do a run, still we've got that Cheeto fought to a glorious defeat, so let's toast stop that rotten dive, bum finger, sicky, bastard, mucky, fucking dingle, prick, with nice glass of bleach. So stick that gorgeous vaccine in my eyes and up my ass. And if it kills me, at least a sweet release from this year's fast. If you're anything but white and rich, then I'm meant to win. So let's ball up 2020 and count it in the bin. Cut it in the bin.
That was brilliant. That is
Hey,
absolutely brilliant.
babe.
Good
And
morning.
the Oscar for Best Song goes to.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Hiya, Godless.
How's it going? How's it
Oh,
going?
well.
It's good.
I'm still in my PJs. I got my good old
Quite
Wayland.
early. It's quite early for you. It's quite early in the morning for you, isn't it, Will?
Well, it's 8:30, and usually I've been up for an hour or two, but it's Sunday. You know, it's my one day to sleep in.
Mm.
No church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he
Not for
messaged me.
a while.
He messaged me to say good morning, and I said I'm on the stream, so I sent him the link.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Will's always welcome here. So.
fair. I mean, I've been up for all of 15 minutes at this point, so
What's your excuse, Sam? It's the afternoon where you are.
By the way,
my excuse is I was awake till 7 a.m.
Yeah, my excuse is I haven't been to bed yet, but I still got here on time.
Really?
I actually say,
Yeah, that was a
after
brilliant
we-
thing that happened this week. That was one of the best things that happened this week. I'm live. I swear I'm not a cat.
Okay, that was amazing to hear the panic in that man's voice. That was hilarious. I've been there where you're too old to know what you're doing. Where you're at a computer and you're like,
I'm
oh,
guessing
crap.
I'm guessing you're in Will's neck of the woods there then for your time zone. So
Yeah, I think they're in what, like Mountain Time or something, or
Pacific.
Pacific. Yeah.
Good old West Coast time.
Hey, I was close.
I have
live. I
one.
swear I'm not a
Yeah.
cat.
Yeah.
Miss Robert says sewing is in.
How's it going, Ox? Robert Eggs? It's like it seems like I was just saying hello to you guys like 5 or 6 hours ago.
I
Because you
know.
were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I just realised that I missed Sam on your guys' stream earlier. Sam pointed because I just after I jumped out. So
I think Ox thinks I'm one of these. Oh, I swear, Mr. Sewing.
Okay, right, here's one.
you are a little bit like that, Jen. Come on.
It's vaguely on topic.
Hey.
It does have a point, Jen.
Jen.
I'm gonna hold you all. I'm gonna
Fine.
hold you all to account now.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hey, dog. Nice to meet you. I've never. How's it going?
We've been on a stream together before, Will.
I know. I'm just saying hello.
Jen.
Hello, mate.
I'm over enthusiastic. This is me before coffee too.
This is you before coffee. This is me after
I just
3
say,
energy
yeah.
drinks.
At least I won't have to worry about being pleased because Will is always over enthusiastic.
Jen, I was going to say, Jen, I've got 3 words for you. How you doing?
How you doing?
Damn it, Jen.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Sorry, no, we get uncomfortable really fast. Jen and I.
Yeah, sorry.
Fine.
We'll rein it in.
It's fine. You've
else
never been
just
on
gonna
a stream
have
with
to-
me and Ring, have you?
No.
Yeah, or else Ring's just going to have to try and get in here.
I think Ring's internet's still misbehaving.
I'm full at the moment, so and
Okay,
Rings,
I'm
yeah.
going to ask
Which is the
about
reason we're having this as opposed to Media Musings. So
I'm going to ask about the elephant, or to me, what looks like the eagle's head in the room behind Will there. What is that? It looks like a paper mache eagle's head, and I'm confused.
It's a furry head.
It's a what?
He's not a furry, though.
Okay.
So at Walmart,
I mean, you do you, boo.
they sell so in America, you'll go to Walmart and out of all the useless things they'll have a giant bin of furry heads. I wanted to get a black cat, but the black cats were sold out. So by the time I got there, the eagle was the one thing I could make fun of.
So you got an American eagle.
Yeah, and
Furry
I created a character called Douglas Furry. Well, instead of Douglas Murray.
Douglas Murray. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, he's one of the grifters from your country that calls everyone racist and wants to kick out everyone who's not white, basically. he's part of that because I'm bi. Well, I'll be nice. He just doesn't like people who aren't my color. Even if you're born in the UK, he doesn't like you. If you're so,
I know several people like that.
yeah,
I go out of my way to draw attention to how just utterly racist that man is. Because I've watched him progress over the past 11 years. I've watched him go from, oh, I'm a kind gay man, I'm an intelligent, I have all these things to say, and now he's like, if you're not from the UK and white, get out of my country. So it's been a
That reminds me of something absolutely hilarious. I nearly died laughing. Has anyone seen the advert on YouTube of Nigel Farage asking you if you think the banks have your financial interests at heart?
I've seen it. It's great.
Nigel
I
Farage,
died.
the banker, Nigel Farage.
Giving financial advice.
that man
Yeah.
drinks furniture polish. There's
I died.
serious.
I died and ascended to another plane when I
It was
saw
so fucking funny. It was just like, excuse me.
that.
Some of his propaganda videos are amazing. When he's on a boat and he's like, look at all these migrants coming from France. Look at all these people. And then people are just kind of looking at him like, what the hell's wrong with you?
What he needs is to be milkshaked again.
With a brick.
Yeah, because milkshaking him brings all the boys to the yard, doesn't it?
Oh, now
I am
see,
not advocating
Sorry,
hitting
Doodle,
Nigel
sorry.
Farage with a brick, just FYI.
One
At
of-
least not
Do you
officially.
hear what happened when Nigel Farage got his wife pregnant? Soon after the pregnancy test, she said, "My father's ambition has been achieved. Now I want my life back."
Yeah. She's Nigel Farage amuses me because Nigel Farage tries to maintain this veneer of respectability that Nick Griffin threw out in like 2001.
Yeah.
After the referendum, after Brexit, and after I think it was the second vote when he went to Brussels, he acted like an ass every time they called on your country. Or he wouldn't vote, or he would just say, "Oh, we're not going to be here."
But
it was hard to watch.
That was no change to how he behaved before the vote.
Didn't he only show up to like 3 out of 40-something meetings?
Yeah, this is the funny thing about UKIP. Like they were so anti-Europe, but they were quite happy to get MEPs elected who took every goddamn penny they could fucking get out of the EU.
Get their hands on. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Secular, just FYI, milkshaking is when you approach a person with whom you have less than convivial relations and gently project the contents of a McDonald's or Burger King milkshake approximately to the vicinity of their face and or suit.
Are frozen
Preferably
milkshakes acceptable? Are
Usually
frozen...
politicians.
Well, what happened with that, and I'll explain what happened, why milkshaking became a thing. It was racist piece of shit Tommy Robinson.
Oh,
And
I can't stand that.
He accosted a young Muslim man on the street.
Was he Muslim or was he Sikh?
I can't remember, but what he.
I vaguely remember someone wearing a turban, but it might not
he
be
was
him.
Muslim, but either way, he was a minority. He was an Asian, obviously from a minority. And Tommy Robinson, with about half a dozen of his thugs around him, was intimidating this guy and was having it filmed, and was provoking the guy who happened to have a McDonald's milkshake in his hands, and he eventually lost it and threw the goddamn milkshake over Tommy Robinson. And
I have to admit, though.
And it became a meme after that.
To be fair, Tony Robinson is a festering pile of wombat cum.
Yeah, I will say, though, the best thing to come out of the whole milkshaking incident was what happened at the next time people went out to protest him. Because what happened was the local McDonald's were politely asked by the police to not sell milkshakes on the day.
Really?
And so they did so. Because it was deemed to be a public order issue.
You know, if that happened in America, he'd be safe.
You know what happened immediately as that news broke that McDonald's weren't selling milkshakes?
Well, forget about the milkshaking.
Came out with an advert of milkshakes on sale here.
Forget about milkshaking, make dog turd trend. You can't stop a dog from shitting.
My favorite.
I think the best part about the milkshaking, didn't somebody milkshake Sargon?
Yes.
Oh, that's
right. That was brilliant.
Did someone milkshake Katie Hopkins too?
No,
I wouldn't be surprised. I wish they had.
Nigel Farage got done, but the other one was
Tommy
Sargon.
Robinson. And Sargon.
Tommy Robinson. Sargon. I don't think Katie Hopkins got done, no.
She is such a piece of garbage. She makes my skin crawl.
She makes everyone's skin crawl.
She is so blatantly racist. She goes out of her way to be racist. She sits down and says, what racist things can I think of right now to insult everybody?
Because she gets paid by the word to write about it in the frigging papers. Sorry, the tabloids.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Is she anymore, though? She's not anymore, though.
She did at the time. That's how she built her
she got a column in this. Well, she got big off for the British version of The Apprentice.
Was she in the Scum or was she in the Hail? I can never remember.
She was in the Sun.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I don't call it that. We call it the Scum where I'm from. Yeah. Please don't call it by the name on its header, because if you do, you'll sell my alcohol.
If we're talking about the Daily Hile, that's the Daily Mail for anyone who's. We call it the Daily Hile.
Yep.
I've got this little book here, The People's Manifesto by Mark Thomas. It's got some. It's got a couple of things on the Daily Mail in here. I'm trying to find them.
Robert X thought I was programming or texting you, babe, but neither of them.
Sorry.
People should check my Twitter if they want to know what I was doing.
You were posting
Yeah, I
something.
just checked Twitter now, and I was just like, nope, the people in the chat are wrong.
Here's one. This is a policy.
What
in
I
the people's,
tweeted to Sir Sick.
I saw that.
This is a policy in the People's Manifesto. The Daily Mail should be forced to print on the front of every edition the words, "This is a fictionalized account of the news, and any resemblance to the truth is entirely coincidental."
Yes.
Give me
I'll go with that.
second.
Oh no, I'll give you the best one. Did anyone see the news about Warner Brothers Studios closing down?
No.
Supposedly, the news broke a couple of weeks ago that they were closing down because someone had tested positive for COVID. But all the papers that were running it belonged to one particular news group. They were all identical articles with the same byline for the same journalist, and no other newspaper that actually fact-checked shit picked the story up for more than 2 days. So, yeah.
Okay, here you go.
It was a weird one.
I found the other one here. I'll see if I can put myself full screen for a second so people can see this. Okay. Can you read that?
Should be forced to print the words, the paper that supported Hitler on its masthead. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the paper that went after, wasn't it the Miliband's father they went after?
Yeah, Ralph Miliband, yeah.
Yeah, they went after Ralph Miliband. They went after... I mean, what amuses me is the same paper that goes after Ralph Miliband then turns round and in less than 10 years goes after Corbyn for supposedly being an anti-Semite.
Yeah. Oh, the parrot, yeah. That's the whole thing that...
For Robert X's benefit, that's what I tweeted, Sir Sick.
Oh.
Nice.
Who's Sir Sick Crusader and why are you sending him a severed arm?
Okay, so Sick Crusader is well, Jeff knows who he is.
I don't normally expect imagery like that out of an episode of Hannibal.
He's a YouTuber who does comic debunking videos. But mostly he's about making it funny more so than about science because he's not heavy into the science. But he made a statement about people climbing Mount Everest because somebody was denying that people ever climbed Mount Everest. Hans Wordpat was denying it, saying people never climbed Mount Everest. And he said, well, the trail is layered with has got people who died doing this, and they're actually used as markers for people to know how high up they've gotten. And then he goes, and sometimes they're used as snacks as long as you've got a saw and a fire. Hence why I tweeted that at him. I have a snack for you.
Fair.
So it makes sense when you're in context.
Here's a tangentially related fact that I learned. Technically, cannibalism is not illegal in the UK. And
What?
It's true. Yeah.
What?
Technically
Cannibalism
speaking,
is
that's
not-
true.
There is some criteria, however. You must not kill the person you are eating, even by misadventure or accident. And you must have consent to eat them.
Yeah, they need to tell. Basically, you need to have written consent before they die that you're allowed to eat their body.
But I will point out we talked about this a little on Purple Stream the other day, Will. It's illegal in the UK to handle a salmon in a suspicious manner.
We sure did talk about this. Yeah.
That is one of my favourite laws. The Salmon Act is one of my favourite pieces of legislation.
Yeah.
How the hell do you handle a salmon in suspicious?
You literally skills.
A long time ago, someone walked around slapping people. Someone caused mayhem with a fish. And it was so
if it was
bad.
about slapping people, all of Monty Python should have been arrested.
But
we had
because the thing is that because they couldn't admit this, though, the reasoning given in the legislation is poaching issues.
Yeah.
But it's like
I'll just
That's
say
very specific. It's very
so people know the context. Will and I were on Purple Stream the other day, and we were going through a load of strange laws from around the world.
That was awesome. That was
speaking
awesome.
of also
Did you
weird
get the one?
stereotypes as well. I presume we all know the inappropriate stereotype about the Welsh.
I've
Yep.
been there. Yes.
Which
Oh,
one? Are we
Are you about to elaborate on where that
Are
came
we
from?
The one
talking
about the sheep.
we're talking
Is
Yes.
yeah.
Is it
Are you
illegal to
aware
shoot a
why
Welshman
that
with a
became
bow and arrow?
stereotype? Are you aware why that became a stereotype?
I certainly am.
So
It's funny.
what it used to be is that there used to be a law. There was a law against stealing sheep, but there was no law against taking your pleasure from a sheep.
I think there was, but it was a smaller sentence.
It was a lesser sentence.
See,
And therefore, when found in a field at night with sheep, the locals would opt for the lesser sentence.
And say, no, I wasn't stealing it, sir. I was fucking it.
Yeah. I love how I'm being very awkward about saying this, and Sam's just like, yeah.
Well, you could say it like when a farmer really
You
likes
hold your
their
hands
sheep.
up and say, I'm a sheep shagger, you know, it's
Yeah, like that's where
there
that
used to
joke
be-
comes from.
There used to be a law on the books in my own state that you weren't allowed to think lurid thoughts in public.
How would you enforce that? How would you ever enforce that?
I can read.
I know
totally erotic
someone
fanfiction with a straight
whose
face.
uncle was arrested for this.
They can't enforce drug laws. How would they enforce that?
I know they actually went and arrested this
Legal,
guy.
you
I would
remember
think
the one-
lurid thoughts in public, and
would
he
be
was
in-
shopping with his wife at the time. I'm like,
I would be in prison.
Did they
Have you
catch him
seen,
staring at her ass or something? Like,
I have no idea. I'm like, what?
are you kidding me? With my eyebrows and the way I say hello, I'd be in prison. Hello. Hi. Oh, get out of here.
if you wouldn't be in prison, I
pretty
would.
much, yeah. Pretty
Also,
much, yeah.
there's a law.
You can't steal its sheep, but you can steal its virginity.
Yikes.
Does anyone know what the statute of limitations is on those weird little sexual practice laws in various American states?
I have no idea.
Right, I'm
Well-
going to keep my mouth shut then.
No, but
So
like
I want to
hardcore
share-
sodomy. We had hardcore sodomy laws in this country for a while. Like all the way up
Yeah.
until the 80s, it was illegal to be gay in Texas. Like we had some really backwards laws here.
I think
So
it's more. I drove across the country with Ring, and I'm not going to
Awesome.
say when.
Awesome.
And there are several states where booking into a hotel as an unmarried couple is still illegal. Technically, it's on the
Yep.
book.
Yeah.
There are several states where it's illegal to perform oral sex in several states. There are several states where it's illegal to share a bed with someone you are not married or related to. There are a couple of states where using sex toys is illegal.
Yes.
I didn't realise until after I came back to the UK that there are now several states I can't go back to.
Oops.
Did you
Now,
get
see, here's a fun one for you. So in Texas, there's a law that you're allowed a maximum of 6 dildos.
How many guns
Who the
are you
hell-
allowed?
Who are they?
The thing
to
is,
tell
there
you?
is. The thing is, there is no limitation on how many guns you are allowed. And so, me and several friends sat down and went, what if we made a gun, the handle of which was a dildo? Does that count as a dildo? And the answer, we looked it up, is no, because the definition of a dildo legally in Texas is that its primary purpose is being a dildo.
So if its primary purpose is to kill someone, it's fine. But if its primary purpose is an orgasm, you're fucked. Literally.
Yes.
Or
And
not,
so
as the case may be.
if you make it such that it's a gun and you don't fill it, but the handle is a dildo and you use that, you can own 7 of those.
I'm going to
you
reveal
design one that
something
you
about
know you design one of the ones that moves like that, right? And you make it so it can move really fast like that. You could say it's a bar mix.
Well,
I'm going to potentially reveal something about myself here, although I swear I learned this through totally innocent means.
Okay, there's
Does this explain the
I'll-
invention of those weird dildos with like that you can put the liquid in and squeeze and shit? Is that where that comes from? Because they're not technically dildos. they're
Possibly.
something
I've
else.
not
I didn't
checked this
actually know
thoroughly,
that was
but that's
a
quite
thing.
possible.
Neither did I.
that's called an icing bag noodle.
No. There's like
Here's
you
the-
can get them and you put like the warm liquid in them. Oh, they swell in certain parts.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
in way too
Eisenberg.
many fandoms not to know about
Me
this.
I'm gonna have
Think
to Google
Noodle knows
Hold
too
on, hold
much
on,
about
guys,
this.
guys. I was just gonna say I think this is one Dog was looking at. I was looking for this one the other day and I couldn't find it because I was going to say this. Welshmen are prohibited from entering the city of Chester before the sun rises, and have to leave again before the sun goes down, according to an old bylaw, which explains the fact that it's still technically okay in that city to shoot a Welshman on a Sunday inside the city walls, as long as it's after midnight with a crossbow.
Is that like
Ouch.
the? Is
Ouch.
that like the?
That's a very
York?
specific.
Is that
Yeah.
like the Scotsman stood on the walls of York at midnight being shot with a crossbow?
It's
Yeah.
Or bow and arrow or whatever.
Yeah.
Which city is it still technically a requirement that a man walks in front of your motor vehicle with flags waving that there's a motor vehicle coming behind them?
I don't know, but there is. I think that it's still on the books in the UK
Well, I
that
have a-
someone has to walk in front of a hearse if it's carrying a coffin.
Right.
Full coffin.
I have a
Oh, wow.
question for the Brits in the room. Noodle, Sam, Dog. Have you ever, on Christmas Day, eaten a mince pie? On Christmas Day itself?
I plead
Yeah,
the fifth.
too many.
Okay.
Too many.
I plead the fifth because I know the answer to this.
This, yeah. According to a 17th century law, it is illegal in England to eat mince pies on Christmas Day.
Cromwell
I
banned
don't like
Cromwell banned them
It's an Oliver Cromwell thing. Yeah.
Why?
Cromwell thing because they were too decadent and he was a Puritan.
Oh, he tried to
He
ban
was,
Britain.
wasn't he? He
Yeah.
was a
Banned
complete
Britain for a
ass.
while.
Well, he was a Puritan in the same way, like the evangelical televangelists are Puritans. They preach
Yeah.
it, but they don't live it.
Yeah.
Puritan live a pure life when he was a chain smoker and a drinker himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is
That's
it.
like-
A lot of these laws always seem suspiciously like they have a sort of religious influence to them.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that a lot of the people who make the laws know that the laws won't apply to them.
You know, I live around
It's
a lot of Mormons, and they throw great parties. They drink alcohol, they smoke cigarettes, they're normal people. They look at their religion as guidelines.
Yeah, it's guidelines more than actual rules.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
As
what,
long
though?
as you're wearing your magic underwear, you can do what the fuck you want.
Listen, let me tell you something.
They also say
Hand on
Jesus was
heart.
the greatest American that ever lived.
Hand on heart. The only people I've ever known to drink me under the table are all Muslim. Hand on heart.
Yeah, that's so funny. That is so.
And the thing is,
it is also illegal for you to die in the House of Commons, because if you do, you're eligible for a state funeral.
okay.
And
So
if you,
I'm almost like tempted on my if I know I'm gonna die and I'm terminally ill, to get myself into the House of Commons.
Heck yeah.
Just to die on the
State
floor.
So you can have a state
So
funeral.
I've got
Yeah.
to have a state funeral.
And
that'd
they
be
could,
excellent.
how is
isn't
it
there,
be illegal
I saw
if you're
this
dead?
thing. I saw it on the news recently. Isn't there like a village in Italy because of COVID and everything else where the mayor stood up and made an emergency law that people weren't allowed to get sick?
I saw that.
Did anyone see this?
I saw that. And
it's like
that was it's funny, but he was
bless the
desperate.
Italians. They've got
Yeah,
to try, aren't they?
My favorite UK law, besides the salmon thing, is that you're not allowed to be drunk in a pub.
What?
Yeah,
That's true. That is actually true. Yeah.
You're not. No, you're not allowed to be beyond reason in a pub. It's
Okay,
a very
so-
specific law.
Well,
What
Donald
it
Trump
says
can
is
be
you're not allowed
allowed
to
in
be
a
out of
pub in the
control.
UK at all.
We
Yeah,
have
you're
that
not-
here too, but you just can't be drunk in public. I was about to say punk in public.
No,
Here's the
you
thing.
you can be tipsy. this is the thing. It's the definition of drunk. The definition of drunk is defined by your behaviour and self-control or lack thereof, not by your blood alcohol level.
It does say
too
drunk,
drunk
but it does mean that, yes.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Do you
so
know
it's
that
drunk and disorderly, not drunk.
Do you know that if you are pregnant in the UK, apparently
you
by
can piss
law,
in a copper's hat?
you can piss in wherever you want, including in a policeman's helmet.
Yeah.
See,
so the rules says that if you are
that's
pregnant, you can
but I'd
ask
have
a
to check.
copper for their helmet and have a
I'd want to check that because I've also heard that that's just an urban myth. So
It may very well be, to be honest.
It may very well
There's
be.
a lot of urban myths.
There's a YouTuber called Kate Smurthwaite that made a really funny video about that. She made a really funny video about that.
I'll give you the best one.
Well,
here's one. How many of you are bikers? Motorbikers?
I am actually. I'm a.
Okay. Do you ever filter through traffic?
Yeah.
Oh goddamn yes.
Do you know that's technically illegal in the UK?
Lane splitting.
Hold on.
There's a line between filtering and lane splitting.
Yeah, there's a technicality of it because within the highway code you are allowed to filter.
But you're only allowed to filter if where you're filtering to is slower moving traffic than where you're moving from. That's filtering. If you lane split, technically you're breaking the law.
Yeah.
It's a really weird. Yeah.
No, that's kind of not as weird as it being illegal to have 50 kilograms of potatoes on you in Western Australia.
What? Like I said, whenever I hear these laws,
to make a bottle of vodka.
Who pissed off?
I have no idea why we have that law, but yeah, apparently you're not allowed to have 50 kilograms of
Somebody
potatoes.
made someone extremely angry. That's why you have these really specific laws. They're like, oh no, I want to make a law against you, buddy.
Yeah. But yeah, technically filtering through is illegal. Well, it can be. You can if you get a copper on a bad day, it's illegal. But the thing is, things are only illegal if you can't afford to pay the fine. Let's be honest.
And most of these laws the cops wouldn't enforce anyway. Like technically, it's a requirement that taxis carry a bale of hay in their boot in Queensland. Yeah. Wow. Imagine how old that law has to have been. Imagine how old that law is.
It makes me laugh how no one goes and reviews these laws, and they're like, well, we don't have horse-drawn carriages anymore. Maybe we should change the law, you know?
I think the one was it in
a lot of these laws
in Massachusetts, isn't it? There's no gorillas allowed in the back seat of the car.
Fantastic. Have I told you guys the salmon joke?
Which salmon joke?
It's a particularly long one, not as long as the monk joke, but
I don't think so.
So, me dad's mate James was down at the pub.
God, you can hear the northern coming out in you the minute you start talking. Sorry.
sorry. So my dad's mate James was down the pub, and he saw someone wandering with a brown package. I'm having to be really careful not to go full northern on you here. And he takes it to the bar, and the guy serving at the bar takes the brown package, hands him a $5 and hands him a pint, wanders off. Then 10 minutes later, second guy comes in, does the same thing. And so at this point, James is really curious. So James goes over to one of the guys and is just like, hey, what's the deal with that? And he says, no. And he's like, well, what if I give you a $5? And he's like, maybe. He's like, what if I give you a $5 and a drink? Like, fine. Gives him a $5 and a drink. Okay, so here's the thing, is that we're poaching trout. And when we're poaching trout, we give it to the guy at the desk and we get a drink and a $5. And so he goes, oh, how do you catch a trout? And he goes, what I'll do is I go to a bridge with a mate. I pay my mate $2.50 to dangle me over the bridge. And then I will put my hands in the water, rest them until a trout swims past, and I'll tickle it. And then I'll yell at my mate to pull me up. Well, he'll pull me up. I will get a trout, and then we'll get $2.50 each, and I'll get a pint. So the guy goes, great, and he thinks James thinks I'll try this with my mate, John. And so him and John go to a bridge. John dangles James over the bridge for $2.50.
Mm.
And like an hour later, he's like, have you caught anything yet? And he says no. And a little bit later, he yells, pull me up. And John goes, oh, have you caught something? And James goes, no, there's a train coming.
Fantastic. Wrong bridge. Ring, I have to apply for a green card in future. Be careful what you say in the chat.
Can you imagine the job's worth copper that enforces all these silly laws?
I can.
What you throwing him up this time for? He had a bale of hay in his boot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's got to be them coppers out there, surely.
Oh, believe me, they are. And you know what? They're all parked around Bradford on Friday night when everyone's trying to get home from work. They're all on Wakefield Road. Ugh.
Well, some of them are over on Rochdale Old Road near Manchester as well.
Yeah. But yeah, the
it's got nothing to do with the pubs at all, is it? And the drunkenness.
No, because Wakefield Road ain't got any pubs on it. It's just a main road in and out of Bradford City.
So if they wanted to get drunkards from pubs, they'd sit in my village, because my village, I think, genuinely has more pubs than shops.
So the cops sit there and just wait for drunks?
The cops sit there and become the drunks.
Here in California, it's mean. They go park outside of all the bars and just wait for people.
I tell you what.
Yeah, they do that at some places here.
Something I have observed throughout my long and sordid years on this planet, the biggest drinkers, and I know I said Muslims, but I retract that statement. The biggest drinkers on the planet are Catholic priests.
Yep.
Okay, can confirm, because I grew up in a Catholic church, and every year we'd have a festival, and we'd have 2 Budweiser trucks at our festival, and the priests were the one who were in charge of the Budweiser trucks.
My dad got a priest drunk at a funeral he was overseeing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Aren't a large majority of Catholic priests actually alcoholics?
But I wouldn't be surprised.
I would think so. And at the church that my mother still goes to, it's not rare to see them outside smoking cigarettes in full garb. Full garb.
Black.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It also amuses me how many monks have traditionally been drunkards.
How many actually made wine as part of the order? No, but honest to God, I went to a Catholic high school, secondary school in the UK. And literally, whenever the monks visited, because our school was attached to the Franciscan friars.
Awesome.
Now, those guys, right? There was always a core group of us who always snuck away on breaks and lunches to have a sneaky cig. And the teachers knew we were there, and they just left us alone, or they came and asked for a light if they'd lost the lighters, and that was about it.
So true.
But you always knew when the friars were in, because they came and joined us. Like the number of times I docked a cig off a Franciscan friar, it's one of those achievement unlocked moments.
A long time ago when I was in catechism classes, we were smoking behind the church, and this priest comes charging up, and we're like, oh, we're done. He caught us. He comes charging up, and we all put our cigarettes behind our back. We're sitting there green faced, and he's like, statistics says that 3 out of 4 of you smoke cigarettes. We all were like, here you go. Here's a cigarette. They didn't care. We were minors, he didn't care.
I'll say it, okay? I smoked my first cigarette when I was 9 years old.
For me, it was 12 behind a church.
Yeah. It was so easy to buy cigarettes. I went into a shop and bought my first packet of cigarettes for me when I was 11.
I smoked my first bong before I smoked my first cigarette.
Yeah,
No.
I didn't knowingly smoke my first joint until I was 20. Knowingly, she says.
Oh, literally, I smoked my first bong before I smoked a joint.
I smoked my first cigarette when I was 16, late bloomer, and I smoked my first. Depending on how you want to define smoking a joint, I had a couple of drags of my dad's when I was 16.
Wait, 16? Only started smoking at 16. Were you homeschooled?
No, but I was petrified because I had like 3 relatives die of lung disease on me.
Fair, yeah, that's a fair call.
Yeah, it's my family too. I'm scared of that myself. I smoked for 20 years. I quit 2 years ago when pot became legal.
Yeah,
Mind you,
I
Noodle,
quit
speaking of that, I was nearly homeschooled. My mum wanted to homeschool me.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna homeschool my son next year because I'm over the entire education system here in America.
Except that
I don't
you might
blame
not
you,
be
honestly.
in America next year.
That's what I'm hoping for too. Wear a mask if you live in America, so I can get out of here.
Wear a mask full stop.
It was the strangest thing because in California, everybody honored the first lockdown. Our numbers went down. The second lockdown, the sheriff was like, I'm not going to enforce this. Our numbers are through the roof. And because of the amount of people here and how close we live together, it's unreal of how many people are passing here. So, you know.
See, the thing is that we have significantly more people here because the population of the UK is like if you took the populations of Texas, California, and Louisiana and put all of them in Louisiana.
There's 29 million people in California. That's more than all of Canada.
Here's one we worked out. In the UK, by square meterage or by square footage, if you like, fits into the state of Montana 12 times with space left over. That's the UK. Technically, it's the UK and the Republic of Ireland. Fits into the state of Montana 12 times with space left over.
So, do you do car trips, or is that like a no-no? Do you guys or get on train trips and go far places, like to the other side?
How far can we go? We're on an island.
No, but I'm saying, like, do you travel around your island?
Fuel is too fucking expensive. We don't really do that unless we're going somewhere specific.
No.
Here's the damn fucked up thing, right? Last time I went to Scotland, okay, and I looked into, I was thinking, should I go? I was going to go to Edinburgh and stay there. So I looked at train fares, and then I looked at airfare where I was, and it was £5 more to fly for an hour than it was to drive a goddamn train.
Wow.
Well, the train should be a lot fucking cheaper, really.
I'll give you the best one, okay?
And if you figured this in with like the cab fare to where we're actually going in Edinburgh, or the tram fare, actually we worked out the tram actually stops right outside our hotel because Edinburgh's got a really cool tram system. It was cheaper to fly, and it was like, it shouldn't be like that. It should be a lot cheaper to go up on the fucking train.
Okay. Brits, don't answer this because you all know the answer, but I'm asking the Aussie and the American.
All right.
Where I live is 200 miles from London. How long does it take you to get 200 miles from where you live where you are right now?
Not very
going through.
Yeah, depends on which highway. Depends on which highway I get on, but
down
not
the
very
main
far.
highway. How far are you gonna get in? Or
it still depends which way I want to go. If I head out of the city from here down the main highway, it's 200. How long would it take me to get 200 miles? What's that in kilometers? Shit. About 350.
Something like that.
Roughly.
A bit under 350.
I don't speak metric.
A bit under 350 because it's not half again. So it's about 330 kilometers. So
Alexa, how many miles is Los Angeles from Las Vegas?
Google from Las
It's 320, by the way, Jam.
320. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on.
So Vegas is 271 miles from my house. I could go to Las Vegas, and basically I could see the lights
Okay.
of Las Vegas from 200 miles. 200 miles, I could be
Okay.
in the state of Nevada.
How long would that take you?
2.5 hours, 3 hours, driving very fast.
If I want to drive,
about three and a bit hours.
let me explain to you
If
why
I head
Brits
south,
don't do road
if
trips.
I go north, it'll take 4.5.
Yeah.
And that's
Let me
with
explain
no
to
one
you.
being on the road.
Let me explain to you why Brits don't do road trips. If I want to drive to London from where I live, at minimal traffic time, I plan for that journey to take at least 5 hours down the M1.
Oh yeah, you can go in the middle of
Yeah,
the night.
easily.
You can go in the middle of the night and it'll take 5 hours.
Yeah.
Well, and
And
you're
that's
sitting
in the
in
middle of the night when the roads
and
are
you're-
empty.
and you're sitting in traffic, or is it just a drive?
Bit of both.
It's straight down the M1 for about 150 miles. Then you hit the ring road. Then you hit the London traffic.
Okay. That's insane.
But the thing is,
This is why Brits
I'm
don't.
trying to remember, how much does it cost to do those 200 miles? Is it? I remember the number 50 quid from somewhere, but that might be off.
It cost my dad about 20 quid in diesel. It costs about £22 return National Express, depending on what time of day you go. Train tickets are anywhere from £35 to £165, depending on time of day, demand, and which class you're traveling.
Yeah, it averages for trains. It averages about 80.
Yeah.
So what they did here in Los Angeles, which I think is idiotic, is they factored in, well, if you were driving a car and you spent this much money on gas, they basically made all bus passes $5 less or $10 less. So they're basically saying, oh, you would pay this much in gas, so why shouldn't a bus pass be $200 a month or like $250 a month? It's outrageous.
Because 200 people are using that bus.
They fleece people going to work here.
Okay. I'd say at the very best.
I'm gonna get some coffee
on the very best by road. Okay, and this is like 140 miles from where I live. If you are lucky from where I live, you could get to Birmingham in 2.5 to 3 hours.
Yeah. I went to university in Leicester.
You are lucky.
Yeah.
In reality, it's going to be closer to 4.
I went to university in Leicester, leaving Leicester after rush hour on a Friday night. So once the roads are dead, long dark, like 8, 9 o'clock at night, we wouldn't get back to Bradford until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And that was if the roads were clear. Now, once you start accounting for all the roadworks and the 50-mile-an-hour zones and the 30-mile-an-hour zones and the random closed-off junctions and everything else that goes wrong on the M1 at stupid o'clock on a Saturday morning, you're looking at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to get home if you set off at 8 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think that...
One day when I'm feeling suicidal, I'm going to take a motorbike down the Autobahn. That's how I'm going to die.
Yeah.
See, now what I find really funny is that I hear about like prices of public transport elsewhere, and I'm just like, for like 20 quid, I can buy a bus ticket that will let me go anywhere in Greater Manchester for a week on any bus.
Are you a student?
Nope.
That's not fair because the Bradford ticket costs that much.
Because a daily is
£4 a day.
A daily ticket is 6 quid, but I can buy like a weekly for I think it's 20 or 21 or something.
So
you should come down here and see how much it costs, Noodle.
Is that a full pass for 6 quid?
I would
for 6 quid for a day, I can use buses to travel basically anywhere in Greater Manchester. I can use any bus company.
Yeah, but that's what we don't have in Bradford. You have to. We've got 3 bus companies in Bradford, and you've got to buy separate tickets for each one.
They
See,
do that
you
here.
normally
They
do,
that
but
here.
we do.
I will tell you this.
Privatise bus fares, man.
Our council's
tell
banded
you-
together and told them off for charging us too much, so they
Our,
agreed to have one with a share.
I think
we
Arriva
used to
recently
get-
agreed to one of first tickets, but
we used to have one bus company that operated, and I could get 3 buses an hour into the city of Southampton from where I live right. Now we have
Sorry,
4
I'm
companies.
snorting a
Now we have 4 bus companies and 1 bus an hour.
Oh wow!
Oh, see,
Like,
I
And if I was to be a day rider on anywhere like in Southampton, I could only go on one company. I can't go on like Blue Line and then go on First.
So I've been quite a few places on this earth, and the only place I've ever been that has reliable transportation is Reno, Nevada, and Las Vegas, Nevada, because they want you to gamble.
Yeah.
So you
so
can
the
get on,
faster they get you in the casino, the longer you
Exactly.
stay.
and if you can get on you can get on a bus with a beer in your hand, and if you tell them you're gambling, they'll let you ride for free.
Reno
no.
still is
I will
Reno
say-
still divorce capital or not? No,
I've
anymore?
been to a lot of major tourist cities, and I will say, as bad as the organisation is, the Romans, the Italians know how to do trains.
yeah.
They have 2 train lines across the city that stop every 3 minutes or something stupid, and
Oh,
the
wow.
trains run every 3 minutes backwards.
Oh
and
yeah,
forwards
the
across the train lines.
the
you get one ticket for both the Meteo
Wow.
A and the Meteo B.
the Swiss and the Italians are good at their public transport.
Yeah. I hear the Germans are good, and I hear the Russians are good, but I can't.
I've
confirm.
heard the Germans are good, but when I was in Germany, I didn't end up catching any public transport.
I mean, to be fair, if the Germans aren't good at being punctual or organising things, there's a problem.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's so true. I grew up with on my cul-de-sac there was a family from Hamburg,
Holy shit.
and they did not mess around. They were the most efficient human beings I'd ever met in my life.
Hey, Ox, I've just read your comment there. My dream bike is a Honda Blackbird. And you'll know what that is. But yeah, I'm just looking at your description of your bike there, and
I might be rude, everybody. I'm starting to
My
nod
last
off.
bike.
Oh,
Yeah, to be honest, Jen,
It's
I'm
1:30
actually
in the
probably
morning
going to
for
call
me,
this
so
a day.
I'm going to head off.
I'm
I'm surprised
actually
you're still
probably
awake.
going to call this.
love you.
To be honest, Jen, I'm going to call this a day. So, just, do you want anything you want to plug before you go, Jen?
I don't know. Will and I were contemplating doing a stream again tomorrow or
Tonight.
later today for people in the tonight for people in the US. We haven't decided. It'll just be another round table with a random discussion point. And
Shall I pop
see
in
how we
2
go.
minutes from the end again?
If
isn't
I'm
that
up,
your thing, Sam?
if I'm up at stupid o'clock, Jen, I'll jump in. But you know,
Cool. How
I can
much
add some
longer are you guys
glamour.
on lockdown for, Jeff?
how long
we
is this string?
we get told what the road out of lockdown plan is on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Wait, they expect us to believe that they've managed to plot a road out of lockdown when they haven't been able to build a train line for 10 years.
I know, right? It's great.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Fantastic.
Dog, you got anything you want to plug or?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nothing.
Okay. Sam and I suppose actually I'll maybe bring Sam and Will on this. I know because I know you guys are planning something together.
We should. If you're dragging the pair of us on, I should see if I can poke Maddie. I don't know that she'd be able to come on, but I can poke her.
Phrasing,
Yeah,
Sam.
because I know you guys.
Sam probably means it both
I know
ways.
I know you guys are planning an upcoming podcast.
There's nothing wrong with going both ways.
None whatsoever. I do.
So
With a double adapter in the middle.
So I'll chill.
Oh, come on.
So yeah,
Next Thursday we'll have the WTF stream. I just told Granny that I will be on her stream at 5:00 on Tuesday. We'll be talking about Black History Month. I might know a few famous Black people here and there.
You
know what? I want to talk about my dad. Honestly, my dad worked for NASA. I feel that we should highlight more Black people that worked for the aerospace industry because that's really underrepresented, like really. And I just like showing off the picture of his office with his Apple IIe. I just like showing that picture off. And we'll have a stream later. And Sam and Maddie are gonna hopefully on Tuesday as well. We're gonna record. So Tuesday's gonna be busy.
Yep. Yeah. So the plan is for that to kind of. I think we want to get a few episodes ahead before we start uploading, but we'll kind of talk to Maddie about it. So in a few weeks, we should have the first episode of Pub Religion out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, Pub Religion?
Pub Religion is what we're calling it.
It's an atheist, a pagan, and a Christian?
Yeah, Maddie's a heretical Christian.
Walk into a bar.
Do they find the spirits on the top shelf?
You know, I feel like I need to have some art commissioned for the background.
Noodle just on the internet.
Yeah, those are my kind of spirits. Oh, that's funny.
And so, yeah, and the name Pub Religion is a bit of a pun and a play on words both at the same time. Because it's the whole pagan, atheist, and Christian walk into a bar, but also a bit of a play on like pub quiz, pub religion, because we're going to talk about more obscure bits of religion.
Oh, you want to check the rules of your local pub before you start, because some pubs don't allow talk of religion. No politics, no religion, no hookers.
There's a sign. There's a sign in the dive bar by my house. Oh yeah,
there's one in the sign where my local as well. No politics, no religion, no gambling.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
If either, okay, so we're looking forward to that. Either of you got anything else? If either of you got anything else you want to plug before we go? Because you got, Sam, you got your own channel and stuff. So
yeah, I was just gonna say I've kind of got my channel that I'm releasing a video on pronouns in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to comment as usual that I scream into the void on Twitter. Sometimes I get into fights. Occasionally, I'm actually constructive.
Okay.
I would like.
Sorry, Doug. Go on, Doug.
No, go on, Doug.
I was just saying I would like to ask the lawmakers about the Welsh. The Welshman crossbow thing, can that be rolled out nationwide?
I have a crossbow if you need help on that, dog. I'll mail it to you.
Noodle, you got anything you want to plug?
Entice them in with sheep.
Yeah, I am doing my weekly gaming stream tomorrow evening, where I'm going to be playing my part 3 of Death Stranding, where you're going to watch me fumble, fiddle, and fail. And then hopefully...
Fumble, fiddle, fail?
I can't.
That sounds like a bad effort. It's self...
No, I can. They will tell you I'm terrible. I forget which buttons to press. I'm awful. But that's the
That's a regular... No, you don't give yourself enough credit. You're muddling through it, all right.
I'm muddling through, yeah.
You get S ranking on all the levels, on all the missions. So that's the top ranking. At the end of the day, you can't knock it, can you?
You know, Noodle, I watched that stream where you tore apart Donald Trump's speech. I really like that. I really like that because you were showing how insane somebody was writing that. There's no way he was writing that.
There's no way he wrote that. He's not clever enough to have
written that. He uses too many words.
Yeah. If it was pictures.
Apparently he used to be big on Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I've not seen his account around.
Yeah.
Thank you, though, Will. I appreciate the feedback on that. Yeah, it's good to know it's reaching people.
I'll just do some plucking for myself then. Okay. Possibly Thursday, I might do another Twitter stream. I'm looking at 2 possible candidates. So that there's this woman, is it Lauren Boubert or Boubert? I don't quite know how her name's pronounced. Boba. Yeah, she's another QAnon nutcase one. It's between her and David Silverman right now as to who might be the next one. For stupidity on Twitter, it's the whole we look through the stupidity on Twitter, so you don't have to. Next week, obviously, probably on Noodle's channel, we should be back with more Asterix. Hopefully, as well, I'll be back at Media Musings next week, which this is in place of. Other than that, I do have a Patreon. I did mention earlier, one of the things I'm just started doing at the moment is I'm reading through all of Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes stories.
Awesome.
I've done the first one already. I've already done one on A Study in Scarlet. I'm still trying to work. I've kind of worked out that I maybe need to script these things a little bit more than I do, but I'm doing them for my patrons at the moment. So sign up for hopefully will be this week. If not, maybe the week after. But that's what I'm going to start reading tomorrow. So other than that, anyone got a little tagline they'd like to sign off with?
Rock out with your clock out.
I thought you were going to say something else then.
Well, everyone, have a day. And remember, communication is key.
Dear.
And Jen, any taglines?
No, I'm not going to use mine.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jen, use it, because it's not worse than mine.
You realise how long it's been since I've said it?
A long time.
Yes. Do it.
It has been a very long time.
Do it.
All right, guys, just try not to choke on the selfie stick.
There you go. It's been a while.
Noodle.
As always, from me, take care, be good, and if you can't be good, use your noodle.
Okay. And from me, take care, and may all of your stains be large ones. See you later. All right. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.